Action. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank EVG Network and my upline. I'm Cindy. It's my privilege to be tonight's MC webinar topic Let's Beat Diabetes. I would like to thank all of you for taking your time to join us this evening. Before we begin, our AV team already mute the Zoom to prevent any interruption to the meeting. You can still continue to use the chat function within the Zoom throughout the whole webinar. So later on, we will have a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. You can unmute to ask your question or simply type your question in the chat box. There will be a picture display during the presentation. If you can't see clearly, you may zoom in for a clearer view. In fact, diabetes is a silent disease in its early stages, and you may feel perfectly well until complications occur. So, how to determine one has diabetes? Can we cure diabetes just by taking medication? Do insulin injection able to restore blood sugars levels back to normal? Can a diabetic patient eat sweet stuff? And more importantly, is diabetes reversible? And how do we beat diabetes? I believe these are the questions that goes on people's mind. And tonight, we have a speaker, Charlie, to share with us on the topic, Let's Beat Diabetes. So let's put our hands together to welcome Charlie.
Okay, thank you, MC. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let me start by thanking EVG Network and my upline. My name is Charlie, and I'm very honored to have this opportunity to share with you on this topic, Let's Beat Diabetes. Okay, I'm pretty sure, right? Many of you have heard of diabetes, am I right? So diabetes is actually a metabolic disorder. Okay, diabetes occurs when the pancreas does not produce enough insulin or the body cannot effectively use the insulin that is produced. Okay, let me put up the slides for better understanding. I'm sure you can see the slides, right? Okay, from the slides, okay, the number of people, right, with diabetes is escalating globally. Okay, just in 2019 alone, diabetes caused 4.2 million deaths. About 463 million adults have diabetes. And this data does not include about 232 million people who were undiagnosed. Okay, scientists have predicted that by 2045, 700 million people will have diabetes. In other words, an average of about 910,000 new cases a year. According to statistics, 11.3% of Singaporeans suffered from diabetes in 2010. It is estimated that by 2025, 25% of Singaporeans will develop type 2 diabetes. That is actually a shocking 100% increase. Okay, so how to determine one has diabetes? Okay, doctors can diagnose it by measuring the blood sugar levels. Okay, let's take a look at the normal and diabetic blood sugar levels. Okay, generally speaking, to detect whether one has diabetes, right, it is to check the blood sugar level on an empty stomach. That is, you have to fast for about 8 to 10 hours. Okay, a normal fasting blood glucose level is about 3.5 to 6.0 millimole per liter. All right, if the fasting blood sugar level is between 6.1 to 6.9, this person, right, could have pre-diabetes. If the fasting blood glucose level is greater than 7 millimole per liter, then this person could already have diabetes. Okay, to be more accurate on whether one has diabetes, okay, one can go for a further test called the oral glucose tolerance test. Okay, the doctor will actually give the person a bottle of liquid that has high amount of sugar and then have his blood sugar tested again after 2 hours. If below 7.8 means normal, and if his blood sugar level is 7.8 to 11 millimole per liter, it means he has pre-diabetes. If it is higher than 11 millimole per liter, it means he has type 2 diabetes. For the pregnant means that she has gestational diabetes. Okay. In fact, right, some people with type 2 diabetes and pregnant women with high blood sugar, right, need to combine with this oral glucose tolerance test. So how does our body, right, maintain a normal blood sugar level? All right. actually, right, the key lies in insulin secreted by the pancreas. Okay, first, let's get to know about our pancreas. Okay, let's take a look at the picture on the left. Okay, the pancreas is an organ situated close to the stomach. Okay, for example, the one in beige, right, that looks like a leaf. Okay, one of the functions of pancreas, right, is to secrete insulin to lower the blood sugar level. Okay, talking about blood sugar level, okay, we have to first understand that as food enters our body, okay, it will break down into glucose in the bloodstream. The pancreas will then produce insulin in order for the cells to absorb the glucose for the body to obtain energy. Okay, next picture, right? Okay, so how does insulin, right, function to lower blood sugar level? Okay, insulins help to move glucose from the blood into the cells for energy. Okay, you can look at the small yellow particles on the left. Okay, these are the glucose in the blood, right? The ones in greens are the insulin secreted by the pancreas. The insulin is like a key to open the door of the cells, and the cells are the one in blues. Okay, and when insulin can open the door of the cells, glucose can actually enter our cells. Then the body has energy. But if one pancreas does not produce enough insulin, or the cells do not respond properly to insulin, like the picture on the right, okay, that's when the glucose starts to deposit into the bloodstream, causing the blood sugar levels to rise. Okay, long-term uncontrolled high blood sugar levels, right, will result in diabetes. Okay. And earlier I mentioned the normal fasting blood sugar level should be around 3.9 to 6.0 millimole per liter. Then you may ask, if I don't eat, will my blood sugar level be too low? Okay, there are actually three types of cells in the pancreas, okay, namely beta, alpha, and delta cells. The function of beta and alpha cells, right, is to secrete hormones to balance blood sugar levels in our body. Okay, let me use this picture, right, to explain, and you will actually have a better understanding. Okay, beta cells, right, account for about 60 to 80% pancreatic cells and secrete insulin. Okay, alpha cells account for about 24 to 40% of pancreatic cells and secrete glucagon. Okay, glucagon works in the opposite way to insulin, okay, a hormone that increases blood sugar in the body. Okay, the other cells, okay, which account for about 6 to 15% of pancreatic cells and secrete growth hormone. That is to basically adjust the beta and alpha cells. Okay, next picture, right? So let's see how beta and alpha cells balance the blood sugar levels in the body. Okay, let's look at the right portion of the picture. Okay, a lot of glucose in the upper blood vessels, indicating a hyperglycemic condition. That is, when we eat, there will be glucose in the blood. So the beta cells will secrete insulin, allowing the cells to absorb glucose, and the blood sugar levels will actually be lowered. Now, you look at the left portion of the picture. Have you tried when you were actually so busy and you had no time to eat? When our body is starving, okay, the body will experience low blood sugar, such as shaking, sweating, something like that. Okay, the alpha cells will then secrete glucagon. This hormone prompts the liver to release glucose, helping the blood sugar levels between 3.9 to 6.0 millimole per liter. Okay, on a side note, okay, it is not possible, right, to eat irregularly for a long period of time. Otherwise, our body will no longer be able to maintain a certain balance. There are actually three types of diabetes: type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. So how can we actually differentiate it? Okay, type 1, the pancreas produces little or no insulin. Type 2, the body does not use insulin effectively to produce enough of it. Okay, gestational means that due to hormonal change that causes insulin resistance. Okay, let's have a deeper understanding of each of these diabetes. Okay, first, type 1 diabetes. Okay, let's first understand what is type 1 diabetes. It is irreversible. Okay, it is usually prevalent among children and young adults, where they are born with. This actually accounts for about 6% of all cases diagnosed diabetes in the United States. Okay, type 1 diabetes is hereditary, or actually an autoimmune disease, where the immune system will cause destruction of the cells in the pancreas. Okay, without those cells in the pancreas, this result in little or no insulin production. So insulin injections are required at a very young age in order to survive. Next, let us understand what gestational diabetes is. Okay, gestational diabetes, right, can be prevented and reversed. Okay, during pregnancy, hormones made by the placenta prevents the body from using insulin effectively, causing insulin resistance. This usually occurs between 24 and 28 weeks of pregnancy. In the United States, 2 to 10% of pregnancies have gestational diabetes. And obesity is one of the major risk factors. So, how does a pregnant woman know if she is overweight? Well, we can actually follow the BMI standard provided by the World Health Organization, which is the WHO. Now, if she has a BMI of more than 25, she is considered overweight. And if it exceeds 30, she is considered to be obese. Okay, a lot of people, right, have this mentality that pregnant women cannot exercise, as this increases the risk of miscarriage. This is absolutely not true. Okay, in fact, exercise lowers miscarriage risk. Now you imagine pregnant women, right, not exercising for 10 months and thinking to consume for own self and baby may actually may easily, right, end up overeating. If they eat all the high fat, high calorie food, it is easy to put on weight or even become obese. So what they need are nutritious foods to boost her immunity. And also it is important for them to keep their weight in check, as obesity, right, increases the risk of gestational diabetes. Okay, gestational diabetes, right, has actually several health impacts on the newborns. Okay, excess growth of the baby, for example, more than 4 kilograms, is also increasing the risk of injury during delivery. Low blood sugar, hypoglycemia. Okay, after delivery, the baby continues to have high insulin levels, but no longer has the high level of sugar from his mother. Okay, some newborns, right, babies have actually jaundice and seizures. Okay, and also it's most likely due to gestational diabetes. And also there are also some stillbirth are also caused by gestational diabetes. So what is more worrying is the increased risk of type 2 diabetes of the baby in the future, right? So many people, right, think that gestational diabetes only occurs during pregnancy, but it has a great impact on the mother later on. Okay, for example, right, hypertension, proteinuria. Okay, proteinuria, a high level of protein in the urine. Okay, visual impairment, swelling in the face, and abdominal pain, difficulty in delivery, and also a higher chance of C-section. And experts have pointed out, okay, half of those who have gestational diabetes, right, develop type 2 diabetes 5 to 10 years after delivery. So let's take a look at what is type 2 diabetes. Okay, type 2 diabetes, right, can be prevented and reversed. Okay, it is a metabolic disorder where the body does not use insulin effectively, or the pancreas does not produce enough insulin. Now, type 2 diabetes accounts for about 91% of all diagnosed cases of diabetes in the United States. Okay, generally speaking, it is possible to develop diabetes from the age of 30 to 40 years old. These causes are due to excess body weight, which is the main cause, and also lack of physical activity. Now, let's look at this picture, right, to understand further. Okay, you take a look at the difference between the one who has a normal weight and the other one who is obese. Okay, the one with normal weight do not have much fats. Okay, it's actually the one shown in pink. It's actually the fats. Okay, insulin binds, right, with the insulin receptor easily, which open the cell door for the glucose to actually enter. Now you take a look at the one who is obese. Although his pancreas produces insulin, but he has too much fat. It's like a thick layer of fats that prevents it from binding to the insulin receptor. Now, glucose remains in the bloodstream, leading to high blood sugar. Therefore, obesity, right, is the main factor that causes the body not able to use insulin effectively, leading to type 2 diabetes. Some people, right, say that no, they are diagnosed with diabetes after they have lost weight. Why is that so? In fact, they used to be overweight. Okay, they may be one of the 232 million people that I mentioned earlier who were undiagnosed. Okay, for diabetes, okay, when the cells are unable to use to take in glucose for a long period of time, right, the body will then burn body fats and proteins for survival. In this way, the person will actually lose weight. Hence, weight loss, right, is also one of the symptoms of diabetes. So there are actually several other symptoms. For example, excessive urination. Okay, when the body has no insulin, right, it will try to get rid of the glucose through urine. Then you lose a lot of water. That's why, right, you get really thirsty, hungry easily, lose weight due to the body cells are starving as they can't use the glucose. You'll feel tired because the body can't get enough fuel, the energy that it needs. Okay, and also visual changes. Okay, numbness or tingling hands and or feet. Okay, slower healing and prone to infection, or may even not have symptoms at all. Right. So if you have one of more of those above symptoms, right, you should get it checked because, right, a high chance of getting type 2 diabetes. Okay, many diabetic patients, right, avoid food that are actually sweet, but they still cannot control their blood sugar levels. In fact, food don't have taste sweet to cause actually a rise in the blood sugar levels. Rather, it is the glycemic index of the food we should actually pay attention to. So, what is glycemic index, or in short, GI? It is an indicator of how quickly the body digests a particular food and converts it to blood sugar. The lower the GI, the slower the food causes actually rise in blood sugar levels, and the healthier it is. Okay, food that actually have a greater GI, right, or greater than 70 are considered to be high GI foods. Okay, let's say take for example, okay, rice does not taste sweet, but the GI is very high at about 89. Cooked potatoes are not sweet either, but the GI is also very high at about 87. So some foods, right, may be sweet like apples, but the GI is very low. It's only about 34. In conclusion, okay, it is not the sweet foods, right, that causes the blood sugar level to actually rise, but the food with high glycemic index. So diabetic patients should choose a low glycemic index diet over unsweetened foods. Okay, different types of sugar, right, have a different GI too. Glucose has the highest GI at 100. So when we take glucose, the blood sugar level will definitely rise very quickly. Okay, sucrose has a GI of about 65. Lactose about 46. How about fructose? Fructose GI is only about 19, which is very low. Okay, but is it sweet? Okay, of course it is sweet. yeah, that's why it's called fructose. But it will actually not cause a person's blood sugar level to rise immediately. Therefore, for people who like desserts, you can actually use fructose, right, to actually make them instead. However, okay, you may have heard, some reports, right? Reports says that fructose has high GI. Why is it so? Okay, in fact, many beverages in the market, right, have added sugar called fructose, actually called fructose corn syrup. Okay, although it has fructose in the name, it is actually not pure fructose. Okay, it is actually one of the cheapest sweeteners. Okay, the common fructose corn syrup has a fructose to glucose ratio of 42 plus 58 glucose. Okay, or the glucose, right, is as high as 55% fructose plus 45% glucose. So the GI is definitely very high. In addition to controlling your weight and paying attention to the GI of your diet, which groups of people, right, are at higher risk of developing diabetes? Now let's look at the risk group. Okay, for example, okay, if you have family history, especially type 1 diabetes, is mostly hereditary. For people who have a parent or sibling have diabetes, has an increased risk of diabetes. Okay, women who develop gestational diabetes, people who lack of exercise, and obese people are at higher risk of type 2 diabetes. The American Indians, Asian American, Pacific Islanders, Hispanic, and Latinos, okay, people with high blood pressure, for example, 140 over 90 or higher, or whoever had high blood pressure before. A person with high cholesterol and high triglyceride levels, if the high density lipoprotein, which is HDL, okay, index is less than 35, or the triglyceride index is 25 or higher. Okay, statistics has shown that 1 in 5 people, right, over the age of 65, right, has diabetes. This may due to actually aging, the gradual decrease in muscle mass, and the increase in actually body fats can lead to diabetes easily. Okay, one of the long COVID symptoms is also diabetes. Okay, studies have found out that those infected beta cells in the pancreas of COVID-19 survivors produces less insulin. Some survivors, right, develop diabetes soon after recovery. Okay, the concerning thing about diabetes is not the disease itself, but the various complications it actually causes. Diabetes can damage almost every organ in the body. Okay, firstly, diabetes, right, will lead to a lower immune function, okay, where the overall defense, cleanse, and repair function of the immune system is actually lowered, thereby increasing the risk of cancer, autoimmune disease, and also infection. Okay, as blood flow throughout the body, high sugar in the blood, right, for a long period of time, right, damages every part of the body. 2 to 3-fold increased risk of heart attacks and actually strokes. Okay, when the body vessels are damaged, it increases the risk of atherosclerosis, where plaque are prone to build up in the artery walls. And also nerve damage. Okay, you will start getting a numbness, no tingling, no pain, or even the loss of sensation of the limbs. With not enough blood flow to the area, right, this also leads to increased risk of infection due to slow healing. Okay, diabetic retinopathy, right, which causes blindness. Okay, this accounts for about 2.56% of global blindness. This happens, right, when the tiny blood vessels are actually damaged at the back of the eyes. Okay, so diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure. According to Singapore National Kidney Foundation, 67% of new cases of kidney failure, right, are due to diabetes. So in addition to the above complications, some diabetic patients also face the risk of limb amputation due to slow healing, and faced with a greater risk of infection that actually requires amputation. Okay, also more prone to skin problems caused by bacterial and fungal infections, hearing loss, Alzheimer's disease, depression, oral health problems, difficulty in getting pregnant. So what are the medical treatments for diabetes? So for type 1 diabetes, patient needs a lifetime of insulin injection in order to survive. For gestational diabetes, okay, you will need insulin injection. Oral medications are also not recommended. As for type 2 diabetes, doctors will usually recommend to start with oral medications. So when the medication start to become ineffective, doctor will then recommend insulin injection. There are actually 40% of people with type 2 diabetes eventually have to rely on insulin injection. So these oral medications do come with side effects, some of which are, more serious, including anemia, macular edema, and fractures, and also heart failure. So how to beat diabetes? Okay, so most diabetes can actually be reversed, especially type 2 diabetes, because prevention is better than cure. So how to reverse it? So the best way is to go for regular checkups, especially people with symptoms of diabetes, people who are overweight or obese, and all the other high-risk group that I've mentioned earlier, especially if we are 45 years old and above, we need to start going for regular checkups. Okay. Early detection of any diseases is easy to receive the appropriate treatment. Diabetes can also be reversed if detected early. So besides regular checkups, what superfoods are effective in reversing diabetes? Now let's look at the superfood. The first one. The first is dietary fiber. Okay, fiber cannot be digested and absorbed and has no calorie at all. So it is helpful for weight loss or blood sugar control. Psyllium husk contains 78% gram of fiber per 100 gram of psyllium husk. Has 70% of soluble fiber and 30% of insoluble fiber. Soluble fiber lowers cholesterol and controls the rise of blood sugar levels. Insoluble fiber slows down the absorption of carbohydrates and helps control blood sugar levels. Okay, a study has shown that 5.1 gram of psyllium husk twice daily before breakfast and dinner had significant reduction in blood sugar concentration after meal. Another superfood that can reverse diabetes is soy, right? American Diabetes Association recommends soy protein for diabetics. Okay, compare with animal protein. Soy protein is 2 times more than meat, 3 times more than egg, 12 times more than milk. The lactose GI in milk is 46, while soy has only a low GI of 10 to 23. Now, soy increases the body sensitivity to insulin, which controls the blood sugar level. Eating soy every day is as effective as a drug for diabetics. And also contains soy also contains soluble fiber, which helps to slow down the body's absorption of sugar and stabilize blood sugar levels. Soybeans contains an active polypeptide, which speed up the fat decomposition process, which aids weight loss, which can reduce the risk of diabetes when weight is actually controlled. It also soy also has no burden on the kidneys. As a result, complications of kidney disease can be reduced. Now, the third superfood that can reverse diabetes is cactus. Studies have shown that cactus can increase the sensitivity of cell to insulin, which can help reduce blood sugar levels in diabetes. An 8-week study in rats have shown that diabetic rats treated with both insulin and cactus had normal glucose level after 2 weeks, the same as those in the non-diabetic group. After 8 weeks, researchers quit giving insulin due to hypoglycemia. Normal glucose levels were actually maintained for the next 7 weeks. Researchers concluded that blood sugar in diabetics can be reversed by taking cactus daily with a dosage about 1 milligram per kilo body weight. So for example, if the weight of a type 2 diabetes patient is about 50 kilograms, he consumes he will need to consume about 0.0005 kilogram, which is about 5 grams of cactus. Then his diabetes can actually be reversed. So cactus contain more than 10,000 phytochemicals that can actually promote metabolism, decrease triglyceride levels, prevent high blood sugar levels, and also speed up wound healing. Cactus has also been considered as highly nutritious, and now it has been further shown that it can also stabilize diabetics' blood sugar levels. The effect is actually more obvious, if taken daily for a long period of time. Now, the fourth superfood that can reverse diabetes is ginseng. A study involved both type 2 diabetic and non-diabetic participants, which received 3 grams of doses of ginseng. Both the diabetic and the non-diabetic subject, who consumed ginseng had blood sugar levels about 20% lower, which is a significant decrease than those who did not consume ginseng. The study concluded that ginseng increased cell sensitivity to insulin, increased actual secretion of insulin. The next one is actually a variety of polysaccharides from different types of mushroom, like the cordyceps mycelium, maitake, shiitake, and ABM mushroom, help the body ability to enhance the production and activity levels of the natural killer cells to prevent infection and cancer. Blueberry is also a very rich source of natural antioxidants. Anthocyanins, the most powerful antioxidant in blueberries, have retinal protective properties, which is helpful in preventing diabetic retinopathy, actually boost the immune system and help prevent certain type of cancer. Diabetes is a killer disease that can have deteriorating effects on many organs in the body, which comes with many life-threatening illnesses such as heart disease, stroke, kidney failure, retinopathy, and limb amputations. This not only incur high medical costs, and diabetic patients also suffer from actually mental distress, especially in today's society with an aging population and an increasing high standard of living. We should actually choose not to get sick in order to have a healthier and happier life. So I call on everybody to understand and practice the correct health regimen to prevent and reverse diabetes. According to nutritional immunology, to prevent and reverse diabetes is pretty simple, Eat more fiber-rich foods, to lower blood sugar levels. Preventing that would prevent diabetes. For those who already have type 2 diabetes, the chance of recovery is actually very high, with actually a daily intake of moderate amounts of cactus and ginseng. Maintain a healthy body weight. According to a diabetes prevention program, losing even a few pounds can actually help reduce the incidence of type 2 diabetes, because it allows the body to use insulin actually more effectively. And an experiment on 3,234 people at high risk of developing diabetes show that choosing a low-calorie diet and exercise can reduce body weight by 5%, 5 to 7%. Okay, thereby delaying or preventing, right, the occurrence of type 2 diabetes by 58%. And also be physically active. Okay, regular exercise such as walking for about 2.5 hours a week, and doing more weight training, because if resistance exercise can reduce fats and allow the body to effectively use the insulin, which can prevent and reverse diabetes. Next thing, do not smoke, because nicotine stimulates the body to produce more triglycerides, leading to insulin resistance. If a smoker cannot produce more dose of insulin, he will not be able to control his blood sugar well. Okay, and also another point is to get sufficient rest. Lack of sleep can interfere with insulin sensitivity. And actually, right, a study on sleep suppression in healthy young adults for 3 days found that the subjects, right, glucose tolerance decreased by 23%, which proved that lack of sleep increases the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Because lack of sleep, our central nervous system, right, becomes more active, which in turn, right, inhibits the pancreas, right, from releasing enough insulin to break down sugar in the body, in our body. So as long as we practice enough the 5 points, okay, as long as we practice enough the 5 points which I mentioned earlier, we can actually prevent the occurrence of diabetes and even reverse it. Actually, with that, I actually end my sharing, and I wish everybody, right, good health, and let's beat diabetes together. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Charlie, for his wonderful sharing. Through his sharing, we have learned about 3 types of diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is the most common, and obesity is the main factor that causes the body not able to use insulin effectively, leading to type 2 diabetes. We also learned many diabetic patients avoid foods that are sweet. Actually, it is not the sweet foods that causes the blood sugar levels to rise, but the food with high glycemic index. So diabetic patients should choose a low glycemic index diet over unsweetened foods. And also from Charlie sharing, we can go for regular checkup, especially people with symptoms of diabetes, and consume more superfood and fiber-rich foods in our daily diet to lower blood sugar levels to reverse diabetes. And more important is maintain a healthy body weight. Thus, we need to have a healthy way to lose weight by calculate calories intake daily. Select the right food and take care of daily lifestyle like sufficient sleep and rest, regular exercise, and maintain a stable emotion. So, has anyone actually benefited from consuming nutritional immunology foods to win back their health? If definitely a yes. And tonight, we have a testimony shared from Cindy Khoo. She will share with us about her friend's mother who was at a risk of foot amputation due to bacterial infection, and how her friend's mother regained back her health through the nutritional immunology foods. Before we invite her to share a testimony, I would like to seek everyone's cooperation by not taking any photo during the testimonial sharing. And now, let's welcome Cindy Khoo.
Hello. Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm Cindy Khoo. I would like to share a testimonial about my friend's mother's severe diabetes condition. I'll be sharing some photo of her mom's wound before her full recovery. So I'm sorry, some people may find it a bit discomfort about those photos. Okay, my apologies. Okay, I start my sharing. Her mother is a diabetic patient for many years. In December 2021, her mother had a cut by a small pepper and she was admitted to hospital for examination. Upon the examination by the doctor, they found out that there was a bacterial infection on her foot and they need to check if it has spread to her leg, her bone. Okay, if so, they need to amputate her foot. My friend was in tears when they heard about this, as they were so worried about her mom, if she could take it, as her mom was already 72 years old. Okay, let me share a photo. Okay. The next day, okay, this was on 15 December 2021, her mother had the surgery done. The wound was very deep and big to the extent that they could see the bone. My friend was wondering how long would it take for such a big, deep wound to recover. The doctor told them that it will have to take at least 6 months for the wound to heal completely. A few days later, the wound got infected again, and the doctor need to do a second surgery on her mother. Another week later, the hospital again had to do a third surgery on her mother without anesthesia. My God. Despite multiple surgeries and painful treatment, including tissue regeneration and cell transplantation, her mother endured great pain and weight loss. During her hospitalization period, my friend delivered daily necessities and nutritional food products, which consist of main ingredients like cactus and American ginseng, soy ginseng, psyllium to her mother. This product played a significant role in her recovery, and it helps in wound healing and strengthen DNA repair, bacteria and viruses infection. Remarkably, her mother wounds healed significantly faster than expected, shrinking from 30 cm to 8 cm within 3 months, and her blood sugar level remained stable. The doctor was impressed by the rapid healing and the role of cactus and soy in her diet. By the 4th month, her mother regained her independence, was able to walk, cook, and even resume her daily activities like grocery shopping by bus. She took bus and then to supermarket to do her marketing. The family attribute her mother's recovery to the power of balanced nutrition and its impact on enhancing the body's natural healing process, even after 40 years of living with diabetics. I conclude my sharing here. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Cindy, for your sharing. I can understand how sad and painful it was when heard someone need to face the food amputation. So may I ask, where can I find the ingredients that you mentioned in your testimony?
Oh, sure. Yeah, let me show you. Okay. All right. Okay. All these products we can find it in Elite product. We actually my friends gave her mother Rhapsody, quantity of like 60 ml per day, and then she split into 3 times a day, like 20 ml per, like morning 20 ml, afternoon 20, and then maybe evenings 20 ml. So per day 60 ml. She also gave her Rosy Time. This one they gave her 30 ml per day. Okay. Another 2 more products that they gave her mom during her hospitalization period is Soy Pro, 1 sachet per day, and then Fiber Top, 1 sachet per day. All these products actually helps her mom in her healing process and actually regain her health through all these products. Yeah, my friend's family were very happy that her mom recovered and then with good health. Thank you.
Thanks once again for Cindy sharing. Through consuming nutritional immunology foods and adjusting her friend's mother lifestyle to win back her health. Indeed, proper nourishment our immune system with the right nutrients, our cell will enable to repair and revitalize. Only that the function of our body organ will be optimally restored as our immune system is the best doctor itself. Let us congratulate Cindy friend's mother again to gain back her health. Next, please take note that's disclaimer here. Every product is specially formulated to nourish overall body, including our immune system. However, our products are not in any way a form of medication or drug and should not be used to treat or cure illnesses. So now, next section will be our Q&A section. Believe that through the sharing just now, you may have some questions to ask. You may unmute to ask the question or type in your question in the chat box. Let me check the chat room today. Oh yes, I saw there is a question in the chat room about Elite's products are very sweet. Can diabetic patients consume them? Thank you, this friend, for this question. A very good question indeed. Is there anyone from the Q&A committee who can help to answer this question?
Hi, MC, I can help to answer this question.
Sure, Daniel, thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Daniel here. So these are good questions. You may think that many people actually think that diabetic patients can only consume foods that are not sweet, right? Actually, that's not true, because all the food that we eat actually will be broken down by our digestive system and into those simple sugars for our cell to use up as energy. And actually, sugar is not some demon to avoid. I would like to share the following slide to help you to have a better understanding about this, which is our glycemic index, which our MC has mentioned earlier. So the glycemic is not the sweetness, but it's actually the high glycemic index. Okay, so the glycemic index actually in our common food is grouped into this. We have this high, we call it as GI lah, high GI. We have a medium GI and a low GI. So food with a high GI are above 70 are considered high glycemic index, and food with a glycemic index of between 55 to 69 are considered as a medium GI, and those below 55 are considered low GI food. So in fact, it's not the sweetness of the food, but it's the high glycemic index that affect our blood sugar. So the faster the food carbohydrates are converted into glucose, the higher will be the glycemic index. So for example, white rice, okay, is not sweet, right? But you can see that the glycemic index is 89 because it doesn't contain fiber. However, this brown rice has a lower glycemic index, which is 50, because it contains fiber, which helps to slow down the conversion into glucose. This explains why doctors or even the nutritionists actually recommend diabetic patients to switch to eating brown rice. Let us take a look at the glycemic index of other foods. Okay, wholemeal bread, 50, the glycemic index. The multigrain bread, 48. This vermicelli, 68, and French bread, 95. Steamed bread, 88, and the white bread, 71. So why do whole wheat bread and the multigrain bread, you can see the glycemic index here. One is a 50, one is a 48, and this white bread is 71, because they have a higher fiber content. So higher fiber content is a key to control the blood sugar level. So another example is like MC has mentioned earlier, is the potato. Okay, is the cooked potato sweet? Actually, the cooked potato is not sweet. Okay, however, the glycemic index is very high, which is 87. Is the apple sweet? Okay, yes, apple is very sweet, and then glycemic index is only 34. So in fact, many foods contain added sugar, but the glycemic index of different sugars varies. For example, glucose. Okay, glucose have 100, the highest GI. Okay, honey, 62, sucrose, 65, fructose, 19. So if you look at the monk fruit, okay, or in Chinese we call lohan guo, which is sweet, but its glycemic index is 0. So in fact, many countries have replaced the Coca-Cola sugar with this stevia. So stevia is a natural sweetener, 400 times sweeter than the sugar, but its glycemic index is 0. So many diabetic patients actually replace sugar with these artificial sweeteners, but in Elite, we do not add these artificial sweeteners in our products. The reason given is the research published in the International Journal of Molecular Science have found that artificial sweeteners actually disrupt our communication among our gut bacteria and actually increase the risk of obesity and type 2 diabetes. So what kind of sugar does Elix product use? Elix products, we actually put this fructose, which is recognized, okay, as by this American Diabetic Association, because fructose have less effect on our blood sugar concentration than sucrose. And our liquid products, okay, give me a second, sorry. And our liquid products, which is Rhapsody and Rositime. So Rhapsody main ingredients, you can see that cactus and American ginseng. Do you think Rhapsody is sweet? Actually, Rhapsody with a little added honey, which has a glycemic index of 62, okay. And Rositime sweetness actually came from this fructose. So its glycemic index is only 19, which is very low. So if you think that Rositime and Rhapsody is very sweet, it could be because that we have a fewer, it could be because you eat fewer sweet foods and are particularly sensitive to the sweetness. So let us look at the other products, Elix products that are in a powder form. So such as the berry beet, okay, and the fiber top. Do you think that berry beet and fiber tops are sweet? Actually, their sweetness also comes from the fructose, which the glycemic index is only 19. So when you consume them, it will not cause the spike in your blood sugar level. So Elix has other products that contain soy, which is a soy grit, and we have phytofit. Okay, the American Diabetes Association recommend that diabetic patients should eat more soy as a source of protein. And the glycemic index of soy is only 10 to 23 because the whole soybeans contain fiber. So consuming protein from soy not only helps to stabilize our blood sugar level, but it also helps to lower down our kidneys burden. So did you know that the soy drinks in the market, such as those packet soy drink or some even our own homemade soy milk, what kind of sugar was added inside? So generally those sugars are very high glycemic index, such as the sucrose, brown sugar, or even some unsweetened soy milk. So when Elix products was developed, it's not only focused on the nutritional value, but also focused on the safety, which we also pay attention to the taste of the product. So our soy green, our phytofit are made from the whole soybeans, where the sweetness actually coming from the fructose, okay? Therefore, they can be consumed by the diabetic patients, and they are very tasty. Even the children and myself like them. So another soybean-based beverage is our Soy Pro. Okay, for those who prefer sweeter flavor, you can actually choose the Soy Pro hazelnut flavor, which also gets the sweetness from the fructose. Okay, for friends who don't like sweet flavor at all, or for those who have severe diabetic patients, you can actually choose the original flavor of Soy Pro, which doesn't contain the fructose, and only ginseng and soybean. Okay, so next is our Racin 3 and Immunity. Do not contain any added fructose. Okay, but do you think that Racin 3 is sweet? So the sweetness actually came from the monk fruit I mentioned earlier, which is 300 times that sweeter than our regular sugar. But its glycemic index, you can see that is 0. Okay. As for Immunity, do not contain any added fructose. So it's not sweet at all. All right. So in conclusion, there are many factors actually impact our blood sugar levels in diabetic patients. First is the sugar intake from the diet. Okay. Second is the level of physical activity. So it's never too late to start exercise. And diabetic patients who exercise more actually has a consistently lower blood sugar level. And third, eat more fibers. Okay. As USDA actually recommended that daily intakes of fiber for women is 25 grams, for men is about 38 grams as a reference. The reason why, because the average daily fibers that our intake is only 10 to 15 grams. So for example, an apple with a skin actually contains 2.8 grams of fiber. So you will need to consume at least 10 apples a day. Only you can keep the doctors away. All right. So best is to consume high fiber food before any meal. Okay. The food consumption order, it plays a part also. Before any meals, so that it can help to lower down the blood sugar level. Besides the severity of a patient's condition and the types of medications taken. For example, some diabetic patient may go for oral medication or insulin injection, okay? Or if and the timing also important. For example, if you were to take insulin or oral medication, you have to before meal to help to manage the after meal blood sugar spike. And some medications are for bedtime, so that it can help to control this fasting blood sugar level. And dosage, okay, also plays a part. Too high a dosage may lead to hypoglycemia, which is a lower blood sugar, while too low a dosage, it may not help to effectively control the blood sugar. Okay, so hope my sharings this evening will give you more understand about this our Elite products and give you more confidence on how to control our blood sugar level. My sharings end here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Daniel's answer. I hope Daniel's answer able to help these friends. So from Daniel's sharing, actually it's not the sweetness of food, but rather than the high glycemic index that affect our blood sugar. The faster a food carbohydrates are converted into glucose, the higher its glycemic index. Elite products use fructose approved by the American Diabetics Association because fructose has a smaller impact on blood sugar levels than sucrose. In fact, the sugar contained in fruit is fructose, which can be safely used. Therefore, even diabetic patients can consume Elite product. Next, let's see whether there are any other questions. It seems there is no other questions. So we will end the Q&A session now. Now, I'm here to share some very exciting events with you all.